All you cool people, you better leave now because it's about to happen.
Friday night and I'm riding solo. When I touch down, keep it on the low low. I don't mess with your energy. No photos.
Hey, what's going on? Hit the post.
Ron, sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's on.
Over.
Yeah, it's all good. All good. So, is Boner Jams coming on tonight?
Undetermined.
I don't know. Hope so too. He was active in the chat. That's what I was hoping he would pop in there. Oh, what a day, huh? Another great one. Another great market. You know, another great week of God only knows what's going to happen. You know. Well, I guess first things first. You know, I'm talking about talking to quickly go over it. We're talking about housing on the show a lot, and we saw a bunch of we saw some numbers. I believe it was either today or yesterday about pending home sales in the United States went down 5.4%.
Look who we got.
Oh, hey, Bonner Jones.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Been missed. Good. Doing well.
Nice. What's going on? Lots, eh?
Enough, but a lot to talk about, as the old saying goes, right?
A lot to talk about, but I don't know. I'm not making a lot of sense of stuff. That's for sure.
Well, what aren't you making sense of right now?
Well, inflation clearly hasn't peaked. The NASDAQ is ripping. It doesn't seem like people are really tightening. There's no QT happening. It doesn't make sense, right? So it's like, is this stagflation, or is this like what's going to happen on the 28th when the FOMC meets, and what's going to be the subsequent? Like, is this a bear market rally, which doesn't bode well, or what is this? Or do we think that Powell's going to maybe capitulate and not do much? Like that's what I mean. I can't make sense of it. And then oil's been getting hit because the paper trading is front running the physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all paper. Like none of the fundamentals have changed. OPEC just met, and they're meeting with Russia, and they just confirmed that they will do whatever they have to protect 92 plus dollar WTI. And so I think they're going to start looking at cuts. So if there is a recession, oil won't be the saving grace, right?
No, it won't. No,
and oil is like a key contributor to the higher pricing of stuff. That's the problem, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what I mean when I can't make sense of things, right? So even like the one thing that I can kind of lift the veil on is if you look at Brent pricing and WTI pricing, there's been a bit of a divergence. Brent contracts roll over at the end of the month, whereas WTI contracts roll over at the front end of the month, so August 1st. So you're seeing contracts like oil pretty much being dumped a little bit. That's why oil dropped like $7 when Brent held steady. So that much I can explain.
So the other stuff, the one point you made is, why is the market going up, even though like the fundamentals honestly haven't changed? I can't make sense of that either. Just
like you're saying, right? Like people are not paying their bills on time.
No, they're not. Look at AT&T. I mean, look at AT&T,
right? And I think if you can get a look at, shut up, blind sneaks, you fat faggot. No, I'm just kidding. That was rude, but so you're gonna be able to talk about housing. We're seeing it in Canada, right? Like we're gonna see a lot of variable rate mortgages up here, which has been like the easy money for Canadians to get housing up here. They're gonna start triggering, which means like another 50 basis points maybe, and you start seeing some of these variable rate mortgages trigger, and some of them are going to be up 35% from what they, the payments were initially, and that's going to be bad. Like our GDP is, very it's propped up on like really shitty mortgage. It's like considered like the 2007-2008 great financial crash, with a little bit more insurance, because we have insurance. Like the banks are a little bit more protected, but the people aren't. But one thing that maybe you can kind of lift the veil on and hit the post. How you doing? Hit the post. Good seeing you. Thanks for doing this. Is unemployment applications, right? Because usually those front run.
They're up. They're up a lot, actually.
They're up, right?
They're up today.
So who's buying all these? Who's buying, putting money back into the NASDAQ, right? Like, I don't understand. So if you want to talk about that, I'd love to sit back and support that.
I think it's based on two things. I don't think a lot of people really understand. Like, you don't have to go like far beneath the numbers to figure out that basically, like, things are starting to turn. I honestly think that Powell has basically, people are reading into, oh, well, they're going to start cutting, and like they're looking forward to, like, January, February 2023. And they're basing this market rally off, oh, he'll cut then. But I mean, he's still looking at 0.75 in July, easy. I mean, it should be 1. I mean, let's be honest. Like Powell should, actually, make a, actually have a hard take instead of just flopping around. Powell should raise at 1. He should, because inflation, he should, but he won't. But he won't. And it's and it's not like, and it's a bitch move by him, honestly, because
it's funny though. We should be able to see, and maybe we can pull this up for next week, is what Bet365 or the betting odds in the UK have set for what he raises, right? Like that's they're usually pretty spot on. And obviously as it gets closer, you get some leaks, but it should be 100 bips. But I think he's really going to stick to his soft landing, but that still doesn't fix like double-digit inflation, right? Like,
no, it doesn't. And the other thing too is people are grasping at straws right now. There's no other way to put it in the market. If you're literally grasping on a Powell solving a problem that's showing no signs of dissipating, then yes, you are grasping at straws right now to drive the market up the way to where it is. I think it's at what? The Dow's at 32 or something. Because fundamentally, this makes no sense.
I mean, and I think hit the post, and you even posted, like, BlackRock lost what, 1.7 billion, like, in the first 6 months. Trillion. Like that's huge, right? Unprecedented. So, ARM, I'm assuming that's the same thing as variable rate mortgage. So,
adjustable rate. Yeah.
Since 2020 on, Mike, I think like 65-70% of them are variable rate mortgages. I can link some of the housing guys that really follow that. Yeah, Chris is smart, but the problem is Canada didn't really learn from the great financial crisis in 2008. We were ancillary to that, but now we're the ones that are fucked because we just essentially had low interest rates for too long.
I mean, I think it is a bear market rally. I mean, honestly, when third quarter earnings come out, in September, I think that's really going to show the whole, like, a major slowdown. I know some of them are starting to show one right now, but I mean, like, for real world, for real world data, I mean, I drove, in Weymouth, I looked at the real estate listings the other day. We're starting to see some real, shellackings of, people taking down their home prices when trying to sell by like 30, 40, 50 G's. I mean, I was down the Cape recently. You know, got overserved with my third, martini, and I had a nasty hangover on Sunday, so whatever. But I mean, there weren't as many people out, and you can see that. You know, you can see things are starting to slow down. You know, places aren't as packed. People are pulling back, and I don't necessarily think the market's necessarily pricing that in. You know.
Well, and I also heard so that Atlanta GDP print that you sent that was a really good indicator, but there was some pushback on that it was maybe a bullwhip effect, being that so the way that they measure that wasn't exactly accurate. Like they were measuring activity and like inventory, but inventory had been stocked up. Like, you know how basically like, we went through a period where you couldn't get certain goods during the pandemic because everybody was hoarding. So, people overbought and those supplies are sitting on the shelf. So now they reduce the inventory coming in just to empty those stocks. So it's a bit of a bullwhip effect. You're seeing a slowdown, but that's because there was over capitalization, overstocking of certain items, like at your Target or whatever. And that gives the indication of a negative GDP, but it had been like, it's like a sunk cost. Like you had already spent so much more to get it. Like, so do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I always thought September was going to be like people come back from holidays, kids go back to school, credit card bills come in, and that's when it's like people are like, holy crap, like inflation's still double digit, everything's more expensive. Now we have to really, tighten everything up. We can't we have to choose between buying this or driving here. And Q4 was going to be a recession, but I'm in agreement with you guys that we're already currently in a recession. Unemployment applications are up. Delinquency rates are up. The problem is, and I'm seeing housing in Florida too, right? Like Florida and like Arizona are like using 2008 as a litmus, like as a comparison. You're seeing like drastic drops in prices. Same with Toronto. You're seeing like, almost 20 to 30% in the GTA, Greater Toronto area for pricing, price drops. So that's like early, right? Like if, for the people that are denying that we're in a recession, well, what would you call those those metrics?
No, absolutely.
Chris and Methuen's asking, what about oil? Yeah, it's what about it, Chris?
If you have home heating oil, now's probably a good time to fill up, right?
Well, did you also see what happened in so what Spain and Portugal told Germany to pretty much kick rocks? They're not cutting their nat gas usage by the 15% that Germany requested.
Yeah.
And the Spain government quit back by using an Angela Merkel line. We didn't spend beyond our means. So that's what she said to Greece in 2014, right? When they were doing the austerity and all that.
I don't know.
Like Germany's fucked, right? Like Germany's like one big industry, right? Their factories, like that whole Rhineland, that whole West area, it's all factories. They've reverted to using coal to generate power for that, to keep it going. And they're using wood, biomass. These are the two biggest emitters, bar none on the planet. And they're supposed to be the ones stewarding the green energy revolution. So I think it's just wild. Let's fuck around, find out energy policies.
Yeah, I mean, did you see with the Nord Stream 1, Russia's saying that they're going to cut the current output, which has already been cut by like 40%, another like 15 to 20%. Like, I think.
Yeah. So as long as the West keeps putting on sanctions and so like they're hitting them with like cutting services like with Apple and like certain tech. Yeah. And if they keep doing that, Russia's going to squeeze them with energy. Like, I don't know what you're going to do, right? Energy is life. Like, that's what fuels everything. That's how you get your food. That's how you get. Yeah, I agree. Mike's right. It's ridiculous policy, and And now you're seeing with 10 years of virtue signaling and offsourcing your energy, your fertilizer, your wheat to a hostile ally that you call does. Like Putin wouldn't have rolled his tanks into Ukraine if he didn't have these levers to squeeze, right? To pull.
No, absolutely. The other thing is, no, I mean, people are talking about it, but, you know, like, Europe's got to be, especially with this heat wave, Europe's got to be freaking diving into their natural gas.
Yeah, their storages are still
now.
below average, right? And
Yeah.
they're not building. And that's the thing. They require to build. Like right now is building. And
Yeah.
with Nord Stream and with Putin like continually limiting. So nat gas for heating, we're already kind of in a supply deficit, Chris. So the price is already going up. If you look at TTF pricing in Europe, it's like 150 plus. And even Henry Hub, it was almost 750. I mean, it was what, $2.50, $3 just like 6 months ago. So if the winter is cold, it's going to be really bad.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, obviously with the heat wave across the United States, I mean, power plants are using this stuff just to keep up with the demand, right?
I mean, you exactly right. Like ACs are cranked. Grids are going to be maxed out. Like I'm pretty sure you guys in the Northeast are going to be maxed out. ERCOT's like crazy right now. The demand on the grid, like I think they're going to have blackouts. California, I just assume they have blackouts, but like when it happens in the Midwest, that's when it gets crazy, right?
Yeah, wasn't there a pipeline that went down? There's a transformer on one of them or something like that.
Transformer at the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, I saw that. I think there was another one on some pipeline where they wanted to build a Keystone or something. I just saw it.
Yeah, a Keystone. There was so there was reduced flow. Yeah. I'm not sure why. That might be maintenance, but it's funny. Everyone is thinking like with Freeport LNG blowing up. There's been a lot of stuff like, refiners or plants associated with the energy sector, and even like farms, right? Like farmland and like plants and stuff like that generate like and manufacture food and produce food. There's been like weird like arson and stuff like that. It's almost like, is this Russia causing issues? Because Freeport ships LNG to the world and it sends a decent amount to Europe, right? So that's just, it's just crazy to see that there's, it's highly coincidental. I agree with High Blind Mike. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a fact, not a question. That's a statement. So what do you see? Are you seeing you're already seeing like tech companies saying they're implementing hiring freezes and they're not backfilling any roles that, maybe lost due to attrition or layoffs or anything like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, my buddy's company, I was texting with him today, and he was saying that they're actually there's been such attrition that they're having a tremendous amount of trouble to fill roles, and that they're. So
where are these people going?
He's in a different industry than I am. I have no idea, honestly. I mean, because I asked him that. I called him at lunch and I said, "So where is everybody going?" He was just like, "Dude, I don't have a clue."
That's what I'm saying. So people are quitting and not knowing, and we don't know where they're going. Second of all, people are putting money back into the stock market into like value growth stocks. So like, speculative buys again, and there's delinquent like bill payments. Like I don't understand. This is like either a perfect storm or we're missing something. Like are we missing something? Like is Powell going to cut? Like,
well, if Powell cuts on
9% print.
If Powell cuts on July, send me your home addresses. I'll send you a bottle of Woodford Reserve. How about that?
Yeah, like, we gotta buy some lottery tickets. I don't understand. Like,
No, I'm
that's what I'm saying.
serious. That'll never happen. I
It,
mean,
it will never happen. So even
I
if he
mean-
does 50 bit, like, okay, so maybe 75 and 50 bips are bullish for
yeah, but
cuts
is it
in
though?
2023. Well, I mean, because it's like you said, any reasonable Fed chair would be cutting 100 bips if you really want to attack inflation, but they're not. So maybe they're relying on like it being transitory and like supply chain issues making up like more than 4.5% of the inflation.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just part of me wonders too if the if the hands that the people that be in Washington are putting the squeeze on Powell. I mean, I don't know how it came across the wire today, or I think it was either today or yesterday. I mean, Biden's pulling 31% on Quinnipiac. I mean, he can't he can't go into can't go into midterms, especially in like August or September, with like 31%. I think he's like 37% on, approval rating at 538 and maybe 36 on Real Clear. Yeah, 38 on Real Clear. Yeah, you just wonder if like what's really causing this, That was joking about playing, sorry for your losses, I mean.
That might be it. So Mike brings up a good point. That's what Robbie brought up, the AT&T. I have a contact down there says he's not worried as much. They're paying, a few days later on average, and the free cash flow was cut due to more deals and discounts upfront being given out. So like I think the HBO deal, like that was a shit deal, right? Like
yeah.
I think those costs are being factored in now, like the transactional money was being factored in, which is why their free cash flow was cut. But still, early signs, people are, delayed in paying their bills, even if it's an average of 2 days. That's quite a bit.
Even your cell phone bill. I mean,
like cell phone bill. And you guys actually have like competition down there. We only have 3 or 4 providers up here, so ours are high. You guys have way more competitive pricing. Like up here for like 25 gigs of data and like unlimited texting and all that, it can be upwards to like $80 to $90 a month.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it's ridiculous, right? There's an oligopoly on our telecom, but you guys actually have competition down there, and prices, are way better, relatively speaking. So if you're not paying your cell phone bill, Robbie, like it's fucking wild.
Dude, I know. I mean, I know. It's like I have T-Mobile and get called, but
but you run a Tesla though. You run an EV, don't you, Blind Mike?
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's black, right? Like we're just making that assumption.
No, I don't know. If people can't pay their cell phone bills, auto delinquencies are up. I think the repo men are gonna have a good time in about 6 months.
Yeah. How do we go long on repo businesses? Like what's the play there?
Yeah, I have no.
Tow truck companies.
I have no clue.
That's another thing. Hey, car loans. I was seeing. I didn't prepare enough for this. But I'm seeing mass delinquencies in used car payments.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people know that they paid too much to begin with, and now prices are coming down, and they're trying to get out.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's either we're all missing something, or something's about to break. I honestly think it's the latter, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like again, Sneaks is right and Chris is right. Canadian oil, even like American oil, it's all intertwined, right? There's so much short-term volatility, but the long-term thesis for me still exists. But I don't invest on margin, and I play just very few call options just because I like to sleep at night, and it's such a volatile sector. So I'm okay with riding it out. There was a pretty decent liquidity, exodus over the last 3 weeks. I think it's going to happen again with the Feds and all the paper traders kind of front running the physical market. So I think the end of July is going to be pretty fucking volatile for oil and gas equities.
Absolutely.
But there's a higher floor because Q2 earnings are going to come out, and they're going to be bangers for American companies, American producers, and Canadian producers, because WTI averaged $102 for Q2, and gas was just above $5.50, I believe. Like, those are
that's
double what they were last year.
That's insane.
And it's not going to get better because, again, OPEC Plus said the Saudi and UAE energy ministers met with Russia and said they will make cuts of up to 3 million barrels per day in order to protect 90 plus WTI. So there it is, right? Because they need to make money too.
No, they do.
A recession is not good for Putin. A recession is not good for Putin. He needs China and India and Iran to buy his product. He needs in Europe to continue going. The ECB, do you want to talk about that, Robbie, or hit the post? What they did? Didn't they raise 50 bips?
They did. And
isn't that going to fuck Italy and Spain? Like, they were already on and Greece. Like, what? Let's talk about Draghi, right? Draghi, Italian Parliament was just
dissolved.
Parliament was dissolved. Yeah, Draghi said, "Fuck it." He was the woke candidate, right? Like, he was the woke leader, and he's gone, right? That's, again, fuck around, find out energy policies and woke policies.
No, I know. When I saw that, because I hope I have this right. I know he originally gave his resignation. It was rejected.
Yeah, and then he gave it again.
And then, well, I mean, that's the whole thing, Europe's fighting like has multiple crises. I mean, the Netherlands is a powder keg right now. I mean, people are getting behind that. All across Europe. Italy's a mess. Germany's yelling at people for using natural gas when they haven't cut themselves. Spain's telling everyone to go pound sand. And I don't know. Poland seems to be chilling, but that'll probably change in about a week. So,
High Blind Mike, the impact of Biden dying. I'm not sure it really does much. Kamala, they protected her pretty well, but again, I'll leave it to you guys in the States to better document. But she really hasn't said much, and when she does say stuff, it's just circular logic. Like, it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, literally useless rhetoric. BRICS has the West by the ball sack. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, because they don't give a fuck, right? Like, they're operating how they need to. That's protectionism. They're kind of leading the whole breakdown of globalism, right? Globalization, because India limited wheat exports for their own people. Yeah. They're buying from Russia. They don't care. China's taking Russian oil to fill up their SPR, just in case they have to go to war with Taiwan or someone, you know what I mean? Or when they eventually try to annex Taiwan, they're building up their strategic petroleum reserve, whereas the U.S. is emptying it just, to try to get oil to not go to 150 instead of drilling. And they're canceling leases and they're canceling offshore stuff. And now Shell is exiting their offshore stuff. And then what else is this? What's going on? Macron. So Macron is losing his majority, it feels like. The left and right are organizing, which is crazy. They just shot down COVID. Yeah, exactly. The Vax passport or whatever, some mandate stuff, which is wild to see two sides diametrically opposed philosophically and ideologically and politically, uniting to vote against Macron in the middle. But he's got nuclear, so he's lucky right now. Even though they were actively trying to shutter nuclear, they were lucky because they didn't. So
I know. Sometimes, sometimes everyone hits, gets lucky sometimes, right? Like, I don't know what's gonna. I mean, France will be okay, but so say like, so I mean, let's go worst case scenario. I mean, what the hell? So what happens if Russia does shut down Nord Stream 1? What are we looking at? Like in real time numbers, real time like depression? That
Yeah, I mean, people are. I don't know, like to not be hyperbolic.
yeah, no, I just
But people, I mean, they don't have storage. I don't know how they're going to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
they're already rationing now.
yeah.
What's going to happen in the winter if it's a cold winter? Like just say it's even an average winter, it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
Hi, Brian Blake. I like that. Praise be. If he shuts it down, I mean, I don't know what else they can do. They have so they'll have to fire up coal, keep coal going,
Yeah.
and maybe burn their furniture. Like what?
Oh god.
Because their home is heat. It's not. You're not able to heat your home on coal, right? Like coal is for their industrial sector, not homes. So homes will be like heating will be a big issue. Blackouts, maybe, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're seeing it in Sri Lanka, right? Like Sri Lanka is like worst case scenario.
That was a hell of a thing to wake up to on Saturday. I'll tell you that.
It's crazy, and now you're seeing it in like Southern America is seeing it. You're seeing protests in Panama, Ecuador, but it has to hit like Germany. It has to hit the Netherlands. And frankly, it might have to hit like America, like the Midwest. Like California already has rolling blackouts. We've known that, but they're used to it, so it's almost accepted. But if it hits the Midwest, and food shortages and maybe people die, some people die on this side, as bad as it sounds, that's the only way it's really going to maybe make change. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, you are starting to see like certain items like just not like in, at least in the supermarket, they're not as plentiful anymore.
And not only that, but like you can clearly calculate like inflation is not like 9%. It's like 15% on some shit, like 15 to 20%. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Robbie would be a good mustache guy. I agree.
I have not. Yeah. Victoria got sent home from daycare. It's been a rough day today.
So Killer is right. There's plenty of rigs drilling north of Edmonton, but I still don't think it's what it was. And frac spreads are tapped. Like literally, frac crews can't. There's no more physical frac crews available to frac. So that's the scary thing. Like we're up against a human labor issue. And like those people that are quitting, Robbie, they're not going to learn to frack or trip pipe. I don't know what they're doing.
Where I work,
they can't fucking pay their AT&T bills or T-Mobile bills, but
yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Honestly, I wish I did know, but I don't know. I really don't know. So hit the post. It's Splividend Eve.
Yeah, so the only holding that I have is GameStop. That's all I really research and can talk about. I named the episode Splividend Eve because there's a share dividend that's happening tonight, effective for pre-market tomorrow. So for every one share you hold, you will receive 3 extra in the form of a dividend. So 4 for 1. A couple other things on GameStop. Just something that I've been watching. The reverse repo program in the U.S. Overnight last night was $2.271 trillion. Today was day 113 of 100% utilization for GameStop. What does that mean? Talk about it all the time. There's X amount of shares that are available to short, and 100% of those are being used for the 113th straight day. Two other quick things. There's been some fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding the computer share decision yesterday to reduce the limit for share cells. Computer share is the transfer agent for GameStop, and what they did was they used to have a limit sell of a little over $214,000, and a lot of people that had direct registered their shares in their name had put in large sell orders for that, and of course GameStop is nowhere near that right now as far as price, and it throws off their algorithm. So they dropped that down to $3,500 a share, which after the split tomorrow, it's still more than 10 times what the price is. I think Computer Share is very generous in allowing you a larger cap. A lot of other transfer agents and companies don't allow you to put in limit sells that much high. Like, I mean, you're putting in a sell for a share at $214,000. This thing is $150 a share, so a little bit ridiculous. And then I speculated on if this dividend distribution does not go smoothly, as far as synthetic shares and shorts that exist on GameStop, what might happen? Well, GameStop might use their new NFT marketplace, which closing in on $10 million in revenue. It's been up in beta for 9 days, I believe. Already doubled Coinbase's competitor NFT marketplace. So roundabout, what would GameStop do if this dividend did not go smoothly? Well, they could pull their all their shares off of the New York Stock Exchange, and they could put them on like a blockchain, like their NFT marketplaces. And what's interesting is they put a new update to their wallet, the GameStop wallet, to be used on their NFT marketplace. You can activate a wallet just by sending somebody an NFT. I speculated last week, what if GameStop did an NFT dividend a la overstock.com and just spark for a short squeeze? They are number one on the Gamma Squeeze list right now. It's just an interesting company to watch, and I can't wait for tomorrow. Going to have 4 times as many shares.
Stock split, yeah. Isn't Tesla considering that as well?
Tesla did one kind of recently. They might split again because, I mean, the share price is jumping up $800. So
I thought they were going to do. They were talking 10, but I was listening to something and I read something that they might do split it by 3 or 4, and then do another one after that instead of doing it in one jump. But I thought that's interesting too, right? Because you're essentially trying to raise capital by splitting the stock and making it cheaper, and I wonder why.
And a dividend, just so any listeners out there, so we can get some clarification. There's really nothing that's changing so much with the company as far as valuation. Nothing changes there. You still own the same dollar amount of shares. You just have more shares. It allows investors to get in at a much more affordable price target. So GameStop splitting at $150 is going to split 4 ways. So now you can get in, under $40. Pretty good.
Nice.
It's all psychological.
Yeah, you got to have you got to be able to know like what your bid ask boundaries are, right? Like and able to take on the volatility. That's like the biggest thing I see, like people like being like, oh yeah, oil and gas is ripping. It's been up like 1,800% since 2021. And then it goes down, like 30% in 2 weeks just from like that high. So it's not even 30%, but like, and they all freak out, and it's like, well, you have to zoom out. Second of all, you should know, you should be trimming profits if you're unsure or you're not able to, or if you're on a high margin, you know what I mean? Like, those are kind of things. So it's like you said, there's upside, but there's risk, inherent risk all the time. What are these fucking idiots talking about now? Sneaks, Sneaks look good for being, suffering from like a sub 80 IQ and looking like he has Down syndrome, right? Like that's his last namesake almost. Like he looked good. I was impressed, Sneaks. You look good for all your ailments. Like a true like Ronald McDonald like housing like beneficiary. You know what I mean? Oh my god.
How about God, of course you gotta go in the ocean. It's clean. I mean, Nantasket Beach. That's like the beacon of cleanliness.
Yeah, you can drink that shit.
No, you can't.
I know.
You better not.
That was off the Simpsons taught me you could drink it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And Killer Terps, I have no idea where that guy is. Wherever John has him locked up and lets him out for meeting of the minds hour 2. That's the only time I ever see that guy. Did he make it to? I know this isn't finances, but did he make it to the Wilbur? Like how? Even though it was a sunk cost. Well, he was working before he got laid off then, so maybe it was a sunk cost.
Oh.
Seawater is great for your hair. Facts.
That is fact. Is it? I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's why they got that mist spray or whatever, right? Gives it that surfer look. What is cess? Blind Mike Sneaks, can you clarify that? What is cess?
I think you meant to
say
sus. C, maybe.
C, got it.
It's good to see the chat active.
Yeah. Where's High Blind Mike? Does he own an EV? That's what I want to know.
I don't think so.
All right, boys, that's all I got. Anything else? So we got the 28th for the FOMC meeting.
Yep.
What are we thinking?
Hey, why not? I'll lock it in. It's gonna be 0.75, but it should be.
I think you're right. I think if it's anything different from that, it's gonna be wild, right? Like more than that, that's a big like. You're gonna see like red. Like there's gonna be blood in the streets for the market. If it's gonna be less than that, I don't even know what to think. I think you're gonna see rotation from value stocks into growth stocks. People are going to pile into the S&P. Crypto might go for a run like you saw Ethereum go for. Like it's just going to be wild. And 75 bips is exactly what you and I, like the three of us have been saying. It's like stagflation. Like you're really not doing much.
I think too. I don't have an economic calendar in front of me right now, but I'll throw this out there. I mean, I think August. I know people are calling for half a point. I honestly think August you might see 0.75 or 1, because I don't think inflation's going anywhere. And all you have to do is just go to a store, or just go to your just take a look around.
Snapchat, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. They got hammered today. Yeah.
That was a solid like a bar. Like that was. Like if you looked at the candle, it was a straight hammer down.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe seeing that stock.
Oh.
It's almost like the opposite of GoPro. At close, GoPro took a dive, and then a little bit into aftermarket jumped way back up.
Yeah.
I didn't see any news.
Yeah, that's what Facebook did when everyone thought it was going to go really tank.
Well, the weird price action today, I thought, was not to bring up GameStop again, but I mean, the day before a dividend, why would anybody sell shares? You're going to get 3 more for every 1 you hold. Why would you sell?
Yeah, this is so weird.
It makes no sense.
Maybe to pay their cell phone bills. I have no idea. Why Mike Sneak says liquidate all your assets. Not a bad strategy. Especially if the cops are after you for being a psycho.
I played a clip last week, Robbie V. You remember? I don't remember who it was, but he said that the Fed has infinite cash.
It's not the way it works, buddy.
Yeah. Well, if the printer
Yeah.
If the printer goes, yeah, sure, but
It was the guy asked him, "What do you say to the people who are going to go to the ATM and take out $3,000?" He said, "Leave it in there. It's safe. There's enough liquidity. There's
You can't
infinite
even,
cash."
you can't even get your money out of some Chinese banks. And the whole I mean,
more than 50 Chinese banks.
you can't even get your money out. And then on top of that, a lot of the Chinese people now are just refusing to pay their mortgage.
And so the banks are saying that they need to hold the money, I think, as an investment agent. Is that what the term was?
Yeah, there was something on Twitter. If I remember, I'll retweet it. It was
Investment tool.
yeah, no, there's like a correspondent on Twitter. I forget her name. Her name escapes me off the top of my head, but she had some pretty great insights on what was happening in Shanghai during the lockdown. And she said that basically they're having like the military tanks just basically protect the actual banks and just roll down the street, which is, I mean, that's, I don't know, doesn't exactly inspire confidence, you know. But it's like another thing to watch as the weeks come by, you know.
I don't know, man. This summer is fucking crazy. Maybe Sneaks is right. Liquidate all of our assets. Sit on it. Your cash is worth less and less, though.
I know.
That's the problem, right?
Unless you got
look, you guys should move to Europe. You guys are owning the euro. You guys are above par now.
I know.
But
like
the dollar's
that's
also losing value is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like to be above. Like the next one's the pound sterling. Like that's when you guys really take over Europe.
I think when the euro first was introduced, it was like $1.35.
It was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
All right. No.
And then once you guys take the pound sterling, that's when you guys officially changed the name from football to soccer. I don't know if you saw that meme kicking around.
Jesus.
Your favorite kind of Asian. Whatever one you want, Highline, Mike.
Yeah, no comment on that.
A naked one? How about that? All right, boys. Good chat next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Good chat.
Thanks a lot. Hit the post.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot to
thank you.
GVE. You're a deadman.com. Buy the merch. We hate Jay. Fuck you, Jay.
All right. We'll see you next week.
What do you think we do on this show?
The police had to put my phone down.
We're still live. Oh.